Right on cue, out of nowhere, Barack Obama had to chime in and set the record straight, according to Barack.
How do you think things are being handled right now there?
It is doubtful that any agreement that arises is going to be significantly different or a significant improvement from the deal that we had in the first place and had worked for a long stretch of time.
Yeah, well, Barack, I guess you kind of have to say that now, don't you? Because if Donald Trump does make a better deal than you were able to make with Iran, it's going to make you look pretty stupid now, isn't it? No one else is going to say that, but that's the truth. And that's why we're suddenly hearing from Barack Obama this week, because half of his legacy is tied to the Iran nuclear deal. And if Donald Trump makes a better deal the same week that his presidential library opens up in Chicago, it's going to look really bad. And Barack can't have that. And that's the truth. But Donald Trump has got a habit of doing things like this, making his predecessors look really bad. Here's an example.
Have you made a final decision on taking executive order in terms of what you want to do at the border? That includes the power to shut down the border, as it was suggested.
Well, it's suggested that. We're examining whether or not I have that power. I would have that power under the legislation.
Okay, so that was a lie, too. And not only did Donald Trump close the border on his first day in office via executive order, we now have net zero illegal immigration, a term I had never heard before. Here's more from Barack.
In retrospect, it's a reminder that on a lot of difficult foreign policy problems, the notion that we can just bully our way or bomb our way to solutions may sometimes seem appealing, but the fact of the matter is that taking the time to explore diplomacy and exhaust the possibilities of coming up with deals that don't solve 100% of the problem, but solve 80, 90% of the problem.
Deals that don't solve 100% of the problem? You mean like the deal you made with Iran, the Iran nuclear deal? The deal that did nothing to stop Iran from building a nuclear weapon like that one, Barack? The 20% that Barack Obama and John Kerry didn't solve for was the most important 20% of that deal. It was the part that stopped Iran from building a nuclear weapon, so don't give me that. But think about that. And I don't think the public cares, honestly, if Iran ever rejoins the world economy. I don't think people care. I personally don't care. If Iran suddenly opens up like a sandals on the Strait of Hormuz in 5 years, I don't care. I don't care about a transformed Iran. I care about America. Americans care about two things as it relates to this war: gas prices and then Iran not having a nuclear weapon. And that's it. Tonight, many of the details of this deal are still vague, but vague doesn't mean bad, not right now. But we still do have questions. Questions like, is the war really going to come to an end? Will the Strait of Hormuz be safe for ships to pass through? How do you really get those mines out of there? Where are they? What about the enriched uranium, the nuclear dust? What does this mean for gas prices, short-term and long-term? And what about Israel? What about Iranian proxies? Do our European allies finally help us? Do they do anything? When do we pull our people out of the region? And when is this all really going to be over? These are all really important questions, but there are always important questions at the end of a war. This is not unique to Donald Trump. You might remember this scene here. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years, 2 decades, and Joe Biden wanted to pull us out of Afghanistan, so this is how it ended, with people clinging to the side of a U.S. cargo plane at the airport in Kabul. After World War II ended and Germany surrendered, I don't think the American taxpayers knew at that time that they were then going to be on the hook for $150 billion to rebuild Europe.
This is a solemn but glorious hour. I wish that Franklin D. Roosevelt had lived to see this day. General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe.
So it was called the Marshall Plan. Harry Truman definitely left that part out of his speech right there. How about the charisma with Harry? He did that, and Donald Trump is doing that because wars do not end in vacuums. They don't just push a button and it's over, and neither will the Iran war.